Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and welcome to the final major weekend of the entire season. With fans back in the venue from Saturday, Formal's been talking about the biggest risk that faces the pro players for this weekend and also for the World Championship. And tweet your thoughts in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you were new as always. I greatly appreciate it. I've already upset the channel. Thank you very much indeed for doing that. First of all, just wanted to mention over this on the breaking point side of things, finally managed to roll out these player pages so you guys can enjoy them. They're a little bit difficult to find, but as you can see, if you can either search by the player name, find on the stats player pages, they should be okay to find. And on mobile they look like this, on desktop they look like this. So you can see total kills, total deaths, all that good stuff, finally available. Happy we were able to roll this out. Last 5 matches, season overview, all that good stuff. Always willing to hear some feedback on how we can improve things and step in the right direction over at the site. Wanted to talk about this as well, because pretty much everyone yesterday came up with a statement during this the walkout that was going on. So we see this from Paris Legion right here, we see this from Atlanta FaZe. I thought it was kind of interesting from the FaZe side. I guess, like, look, Atlanta FaZe are a separate entity to FaZe Clan, but FaZe Clan aren't exactly known for their stellar business practices, let's just say, given the whole situation. And well, we get this from Miles actually. Lots I want to say, not sure if I can, right? Fear of getting, cinched or losing your job or whatever. It's totally understandable. Nothing but love to my friends, co-workers and industry peers in that situation. But also, the LAN is beginning, right? Who's this man's Barbara Zaptius, says Tem. So, here comes the boys. So they're back in the same rooms that they were before. I'm sure you guys recognize these from some of the footage last time around at the major event. You got Zaptius, you got, I'm guessing this is Zach right here, because I'm pretty sure we saw Scraps on the other side of the picture, as you can see in this image. So we got Donny Temp, we got Scraps G over here. They're getting ready for the LAN environment, which is of course going to begin later today. We'll look at exactly how the matches line up in just a few minutes time, and who is going to be out of the tournament already, and whose season is going to be over later today, right? Because with some teams not going to the major, and some of those teams being right down there at the bottom side of the bracket, there's there's going to be some teams going home, you would well imagine, that are not going to be featuring in the World Championship. So some of the last opportunity to see these teams really forever, right? Because I imagine a lot of roster changes are going to happen as soon as Champs does conclude not too long from now. But Aqua seems pretty confident. They're clearly scrimming against the FeLo Mutineers right here. Apocalypse R-Point, and Aqua goes 52 and 23 with 7,000 damage. Pretty impressive actually. Obviously it's a script, but I imagine using an AR on this map and not always too easy to get too much action out of your assault rifle on a map like Apocalypse, where generally the SMGs tend to dominate. And on the OpTic side, you got their room as well. You got Dylan Envoy, basically LeBron World, trying to get the job out of their room. They love stuff like this. The OpTic guys do most certainly. But still, like, they're in their room. The fans don't arrive for just a couple of days' time. But this is one of the big topics that we had at the previous major. Really, it was the whole Huke discussion, right? That was the issue with the testing, that Huke didn't arrive on time. He couldn't get the test done, and therefore he wasn't able to play in the game. And then since then, he was removed from their team, never to seemingly return to Los Angeles Thieves at the very least. And who knows what exactly will happen in the off season and next season and all that good type of stuff that I'm sure will become increasingly clear over time. But there was some testing issues that happened last time around with some players. I would not be surprised to see something happen similar this time around, especially with fans in this situation. You can see, Scump right here getting ready to go, doing the, the media day, all that type of stuff. And I'm not sure he's got the foam runners on yet, so maybe some purchase he needs to make in advance of this weekend. But yeah, a lot of discussion really on the OpTic Chicago podcast the last couple of weeks from Scump and now from Formal yesterday, talking about the issues and, the kind of the risk that they see associated with this upcoming weekend. Because, of course, look, the fans are going to be separate from the pro players at the event. I do wonder, like, kind of from the breaking point side, what exactly is going to happen with the media passes, especially the Champs. Like, can media people go there and actually speak to the players and do interviews and such? Is that going to be something that's allowed? Because if I'm a player, the last thing I want to get is actually get the thing, and then, you have to get tested, and therefore you're out of the entire tournament. That's the issue. And the problem is, if you get it, you might have accidentally given it to a couple of your teammates, and then your entire team is just out of the running and has to forfeit the game. The last thing you want to do is get the virus, right? And that's the problem with the fans being there, is that, okay, the fans in the venue are very much separate from where the players are actually going to be playing. There's going to be no, like, fan meet and greets or something, I imagine, until after the event concludes, as Hex is about to say right here. But the problem is that Formal sees is there's only pretty much one hotel at the venue, and all the fans and all the players are going to be in there, and there's no restrictions in there like there is at the venue itself. So that is really where the risk poses itself to players. And you got to say that from Saturday, Sunday, the kind of big day matches, when the fans actually are turning up and arriving, there is some significant degree of risk that one of these players actually gets the thing, and all of a sudden they have to forfeit their game, or they have to step out for their substitute, or whatever the case might be. We could have some serious implications.
On the topic of Call of Duty, obviously we have the first main event coming up, or not, the Major 5, where fans are being allowed to come in, but they can't have any interactions, from what I understand, with anyone. Did they give you like a manual of things not to do?
I mean, maybe they'll probably give us like a rundown of
Like a rundown?
Yeah, it's not going to be like there's not going to be any Scump signings, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Like,
But I mean, the problem is that there's it's just like there's one hotel,
yeah.
and it's like everyone that's going to be attending the event is going to be staying there too. So it's kind of like I don't know. They'll enforce a lot of rules at the event, I think, but I think at the hotel it's kind of anything goes. There's no one really regulating.
You get
Everyone's
tested
gonna be
every day,
drinking
COVID
together.
testing?
Yeah, but that's the problem for me, right? Like
You do?
The
They get COVID tested every day?
I think
Yeah,
so.
we
Like,
do.
the-
We do.
So,
you
so the
definitely gotta
problem,
stay in.
guys. All right. So if you guys are watching, then you guys are planning on attending the event. Know that I don't want to, but I will be strict on like the approach, right? Like if you guys want to wait until Sunday or after the event to take pictures, that's awesome. But before that, we cannot risk sitting around and just talking to people. Like if you come to me like, look at my vaccine, I'm
Yeah,
like,
I don't
you
want
still
them to
get-
think I'm rude or anything.
Yeah, nah, they won't.
I just don't.
No, they understand.
It's very serious. If any of us get COVID, we cannot play.
Yeah.
we can't play at
What if
all. It's
someone's
no
like, "Yo, good
exceptions,
luck,
nothing. Yeah, like there's no.
Are you?
I mean,
like accidentally you like. What
I
about
don't
this,
know,
right?
dude,
This
probably
the
not.
same dude during the event. We don't want to lose on a technicality, especially
Yeah.
going into champs. We gotta make these last two count.
Yeah.
You okay? So please be understanding. I'm pretty sure that people have like I know the hotel's gonna be the tough part.
It is.
So what do you guys think the likelihood of something like this occurring is? I wouldn't say it's out of the realms of possibility, but still, as you can see right here, if this is the image, we can see fans are set back, obviously, a number of, well, a fair distance from the stage. There's going to be no interaction at the event itself, but I mean, you know, I'm sure the players have to be particularly careful when they go back to the hotel and outside of the venue that they don't get it right, because if they come up positive on just one test, then all of a sudden they're out of the running, and well, as I say, either the sub has to come in, but maybe, maybe if, like, you know, someone gets it on one particular team, likely that within that room they'll spread it to a couple of other people, the entire team has to forfeit. This is obviously a big risk, and I do wonder whether this will affect any of these squads. It's somewhat tough to say. It didn't really happen last time, but there were some, you know, issues with the whole testing situation, and the potential of false positives and this type of stuff also could throw a spanner in the works. So really strange stuff, but it's great that we have Lamb back with fans, most certainly, but still, I mean, as Hake said right there, gonna have to be particularly careful with how the OpTic guys interact with their fans to make sure that nothing goes wrong for the team this next weekend. Wanted to talk about this as well. I thought was kind of interesting. Betting odds to win Major 5 outright. So Atlanta FaZe clear favourites, then Dallas, then OpTic. Kind of interesting actually that OpTic are behind Dallas, I suppose. At least as Bet365 have it lined up right here. Then of course the other teams in the winner's side. Minnesota Rokkr much lower because they have to play FaZe, I guess, in their very first rounds. And then all the way at the bottom, Los Angeles Grillers. I mean, LAG 500-1 doesn't seem too bad. Paris 450-1. I think, you know, throw maybe your life savings on Seattle Surge, and Octane on Lamb will probably turn up and will deliver the goods. This I thought was actually really interesting as well from Sim Eagle, who, well, simulated the Stage 5 major bracket 1 million times. Basically did it through like an ELO system, so had ELO ratings for all the different teams, and then did it on like a map-by-map basis on matching them against each other, and then what could potentially happen if you will simulate 1 million of these tournaments. So supposedly, based on the current ELO ratings that the teams have, FaZe should win about 65% of the time, which is pretty remarkable. They'll make top 3 almost 90% of the time, and 80% of the time they'll make the final. If this is to be believed, then that's no means a guaranteed victory for Atlanta FaZe. Toronto seem the next most likely based on the current performances, then Chicago, then Dallas. So interesting to compare that to the odds we just saw, but I mean, I guess Dallas should be somewhat lower given they're on Atlanta FaZe's side of the bracket, but it's interesting nonetheless to see that OpTic have about a 10% win chance this weekend, at least based on the ELO ratings and the matchups that we've seen so far this season. Then it obviously gets a lot lower for Minnesota LA Thieves. We see Los Angeles Grillers, they couldn't quite make a 0.1% chance of making them top 3, but Seattle Surge did, so there's apparently a 1 in 1,000 chance that Seattle will make top 3 this event, which, yeah, who knows, maybe we're on that 1 in 1,000, but I thought this was pretty cool nonetheless. Would like to see this for future events as well, but I guess speaking of Seattle Surge, tomorrow we go to battle for our last tournament of the season. Gonna try and make this a good one, make it count for all of our supporters, because some teams, the likes of Seattle Surge, they are going to be playing their last tournament this entire weekend, right? Or, well, this weekend is going to be their last tournament of the season. They're not going to the World Championships. So today could be their last match of the entire thing. Does Seattle have a bye? I guess we'll have a look at it right here in a second. They don't have a bye. They're playing Paris each and first up. So these are the games for today, or at least this is the bracket. As we said, FaZe are down here in only the first round of winners, so technically their chances of winning should be slightly lower than usual, which is, I suppose, pretty exciting. If they were in the winners, winners round 2 again, in place of OpTic or something, let's say they beat them in that game 5 round 11, then we might be looking at another foregone conclusion. But exciting to see nonetheless. The FaZe are going to have to work for this one at the very least if they actually do end up taking down the victory. In the losers side, we've got a lot of the teams that you might expect to be down here. Of course, Seattle Surge, Legion, Los Angeles Grillers, Royal Ravens, all 4 teams at the bottom of the standings right now. But subliners down there as well, and Mutineers are, well, unfortunate really for them that they ended up in the losers bracket, you know, once again, to be honest, after a difficult time as of late. But these are the games for today. So 2 elimination games first of all, and then the 2 winners round 1 matches. So Paris, Seattle, they're gonna, well, one of those is gonna go out of the tournament, and of course, well, one of those teams will no longer ever be seen again, and it could be Seattle today, could be Paris today, that their team is just, well, GG, well played. I'm sure it's going to change next season. Some of those guys might not even be in the Pro League again, and they're not going to go to the World Championship either. So it's certainly going to be interesting to watch, I think, nonetheless. And then we've got Los Angeles Guerrillas, New York. I mean, if New York don't beat LAG, that'd be quite remarkable. But you can imagine Los Angeles Guerrillas will suffer a similar fate to one of the teams that goes out in that first series. But then, of course, we go down to the winner's side. Minnesota FaZe, I'm actually really looking forward to. Can they put up a fight here, the Minnesota Rokkr? I think they have it in them to take them the distance, but FaZe, I mean, every time they lose a series, the next few games they play are just dominant. So I think it's going to be difficult for Rokkr right here. And then the final game of the day, that's Los Angeles Thieves versus the Toronto Ultra. This is Central Time, if you guys are wondering why the timings are a little bit different to normal. And, you know, of course, the winner of that will go on to play OpTic Chicago. So pretty interesting stuff, pretty exciting nonetheless. I just wanted to finish up with this pretty incredible clip that happened on this day in 2018 from the incredible talent that was FeLo, making this, well, ridiculous play at Stage 2 playoffs, which, yeah, pretty similar time of the season, to be honest, than we are sitting right now at Major 5. But intrinsically, your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, I'd greatly appreciate a like on the video. It really helps out the YouTube record. I know you enjoyed this content. Other people like you may enjoy this content as well, and I've grown the competitive quality community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
Still have 60 seconds left, and yeah, Kenny's just going for it. They have the map positioning. He's gonna call them all out. Don't kill your teammate. Yeah. Okay. Holy moly! But actually wins that gunfight. Now it's Enable. He almost FeLo able to get 2. FeLo! FeLo! Just melting with 60 seconds left. The flag is out. The 3-0. You can smell it. It's so close to happening. If FeLo can get this home, there's nobody even close. Nobody close from FaZe. And there's the lead change. TK back in front, and they've got streaks to work with. You just call them in, rain them down, slow the FaZe push. They get 2 kills as well. They know where the last 2 FaZe players are. What a great individual play out of FeLo to find those 3 kills. A 7 spree for him, a 5 spree from Kenny. They're just 25 seconds away from making our winners.